Hello, good evening and happy Sunday to each and every one of you. Once again, this is Imagine Me TV. This is the talk show, real talk, real life, real issues. This is the show where, we come on here every Sunday. The show that empowers, educate, uplift our viewers. We are real people that have real issues, and that is why this show exists, to be able to encourage you. I am so excited that you've taken the time to be with us this Sunday afternoon. And I just want to give a shout out to those all over the world. Guys, we have viewers in Barbados, in Dominica, all over in Spain, in Nigeria, Russia. I mean, we've had like about 50 different countries that have tuned into our show. So we just want to give a shout out and say thank you to each and every one of you guys. And remember, the show is on Roku. We're on Amazon Live, we're on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, Imagine Me TV, TDN TV. There is no excuse for you guys not to watch the show. So right now, we usually ask you to take the time before we go into a quick commercial break, to take the time and go ahead and invite your friends, invite your families, because I'm telling you, today's show is going to be amazing. We have an amazing young woman that is going to really tell her story. It is empowering, it's uplifting, it's eye-opening. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her real quick. She's the founder, producer, director, published author. Sheila Bailey is a passionate humanitarian, charismatic author, actress, writer, entrepreneur, a mother of two, and Gege to one special little grandLOVE. Survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. Sheila gained great critical acclaim and audience response with a touching autobiographical trilogy, Willow Silent Cries. Sheila's mission is to help as many women as she can realize the ability to stand upright for themselves, as well as to truly embrace their lives as queen. Sheila is a woman that is an inspirational role model, fueled by her passion and inner strength to be the change, the empowerment of women. I'm telling you, I have known Sheila for a while, and we're going to talk about how we met and stuff like that, but she has really been an encouragement to me. She has really even helped me get into on stages or places that I wouldn't ordinarily get into. She has introduced me to some amazing people and have just been there for me. Even when she was going through some of her tests and trials, she's always been there. So guys, you do not want to miss this interview. So we're going to go into a quick break and just go ahead and invite as many people as you can.
Do you want to grow your online presence and expand your business reach? Our marketing team can definitely help you. Advertise with us today and let Imagine Me TV take your business to the next level. We are offering 3 affordable packages to the end of 2020. Package number 1, you will receive 1 flash ad at the opening of the show. We will also share your business name, location, and phone numbers, and that is only $59.99. In package number 2, you will receive everything from package number 1, but you will also get a second flash ad in the middle of the show. In package number 3, you get to be the show sponsor, and you will receive everything in package number 2. Plus, we will list your website, and you will also have a 30-second video ad. These are some amazing prices. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today at email address info@leagueyourbrandltd.com, or you can call us at 614-402-7034. You can also visit our website at leagueyourbrandltd.com. You can catch our show on several broadcasting platforms like liveyourstreaming.com, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and also on Imagine Me TV network at League Your Brand Limited Company. We have viewers in all 50 states and globally. We are international, we are national, we are worldwide. Canada, Africa, Asia, Europe, the Caribbean islands, just to name a few. We are Imagine Me TV, your #1 virtual TV talk show.
Welcome, my sister. It is such a pleasure to have you on here today. Oh my goodness, how have you been doing?
I'm blessed. I really, honestly, I can't complain. I think the biggest, I always ask my mom that every morning, and she says, well, she says, if I complain, she says, who would care anyway?
You know,
So,
thank God for mothers. And, that's what I said to my daughter, because we all have challenges. And sometimes I said, you know what, because we go through stressors and we may not want to even, like, we beat ourselves up. Why am I still letting this bother me and stuff like that? Or,
mhm,
I was like, you know what? If you have to cry or it have to bother you, do what you have to
yes,
do anyway. You know,
absolutely.
I don't. A lot of times we give so much power to what people think, what they care, and stuff like that, and we do not, walk in our truth, or we bear so
Hmm.
unnecessary burden because of, what might have happened. It's like, who cares anyway? So,
Yes,
but
that's so true.
it's like,
Absolutely true.
and if we can, I'm learning that though. I'm learning that because I think I've given so much of my power to people that I worry about what they care, what they think, that sometimes I will hurt myself to please someone.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
that to me is insanity. And why do
Yes.
we even do that though? Why do you even do you understand why we do that?
Sister, we're human. That's what we do.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
we're human. But I think once you come to like that realization that it just does not matter in the end, because you only have to truly stand face to one person that really, really, truly does matter. And I think once you accept that into your life, then your transition or your walk on earth is a lot easier.
yeah,
I don't try to please anyone anymore because I don't feel like I owe anybody an explanation for my life.
believe it. Yeah,
Um, because in the end, I'm only going to have to answer to one person that determines what my eternity will be.
yeah.
So,
And that is so good to hear that, because I'm at that stage where I'm trying to do that, because I realize a lot of the pain and the sorrow and the guilt and everything that I carry is not even my own. You know, I, instead of having a really good day, which I can on my own, sometimes I let the cares of what people think or don't think, I let it get to me. Just for a couple of days ago, that someone wanted me to do something, and I knew I had so much to do, but because I said to them, you know what, I'm not sure I can do this that way, they get offended. And it creates a lot of friction, because then um you feel guilty. Am I really not helping the person? Am I? And you're not selfish. The thing about that too is, like, people are never satisfied. It doesn't matter how
no.
much you do for them. The one day you cannot do it, you are the worst person in the world. And I put it back on me too, because I said, God, let me not be that way either. That because someone can't help me a certain day, that I make them even feel bad, because you never know what someone else have on their table. You just really
Yes.
don't. And I think it really affected me, that the one time that I couldn't do something, or either two times or whatever, that someone have to be so upset that, hey, you can't help me. Another thing
Mhm.
that I'm learning to realize, and that's for myself too, that Sheila, not because you helped me, that say, you know what, you did something amazing for me, that you have to say, you know what, when I need help, I'm gonna go to Arthlene. You may help
Right.
me, but I may not be the one that's going to help you.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times we don't understand that, and that hurts. And that's where, and I know that's not how the topic was supposed to start, but this is real life, real issue. These are real things that we're facing, and I'm facing it this week. And it makes you want to give up. it makes you wonder, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to deal with this because it's really painful. And for some people, like, it's no big deal. But when you do not know how much someone is carrying on your table, like we were saying
Yes.
before we started the show, I may have so much other stuff that's going on, but because I'm on here, it just looked like, oh, she's nice and pretty and everything looks rosy, but no one knows the challenges that I'm facing. And sometimes
Hmm.
it's one more thing to just throw you over the edge.
On a daily. I mean, people only see. That's why sometimes I'm really a discourager of social media, because you only see the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why usually when I make posts or I'm talking about my everyday life, I'm a really, really transparent person. And we discussed that before we started taping, is that just because you're not putting all of your life out there, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. It's not like you have to go out and just like literally spit up your whole life to people, but I truly believe in living in your own truth.
Yeah.
So if you're going through it, I have on many occasions put my life in exposure of the things that I'm going through or have been through, with the intent of not doing it for sympathy or for people to feel sorry for me, but to say, hey, look, if you're going through the same thing, I am too. And you know what? We just get through it together, because we will. This is just for this one short period of time, but we will get through it.
And even the word of God says it, it says iron sharpens iron. And even as women, one of the things that we have to learn is to um, be able to be there for each other without expectations, without saying,
Yes.
because, you know, that's why some people don't even ask for help. Like me, I don't like asking for help because I don't want someone, um, because I asked you for help, that you'll be like, okay, well, I did this for her, so she's gonna have to do this for me. Or, so most times I would ask for help for my charity and stuff like that. But if
Right.
someone offers something, okay, I'm cool with that. And well, anytime I can do it, and sometimes I go over on a board. Sometimes it's not that I can really do it, but I was like, okay, this person really needs my help. I'm gonna try. And
Right.
we have to have grace for people where they say, you know what, I really can't do this right now, to understand. And even if you may hurt, but don't lash out at them or don't make them feel like the worst person in the world, because you do not know what they're going through. You do not know what they
Yes.
have on their plate. You don't know. And if they're telling you, you know what, I really can't do this right now. So
Hmm.
maybe someone needed to hear that. And many people are doing stuff that they know that they can do, just because they don't want the backlash, or they don't want someone to dislike them, or they don't want someone to talk about them. But I'm telling you, you have to live in your truth today. And whatever it is, if you're not able to do it, whether it's for me, I may be upset. That's on me if I am upset. But I just encourage whoever this is for today to stand in your truth. Do what you know you're capable of doing. Don't try to
Yes.
please people and hurt yourself. So we're gonna
Yes.
jump right into the questions. And
Yes.
because we have an hour and we can talk for hours. So the first thing I wanted you to tell our viewers, how did we meet? Do you remember how we met?
I was sitting there and I was thinking, I was like, dang, I've known Arlene for like a while. And I think we actually met through someone mutual. It was like through photography. Um, and you were a designer. And I was looking for, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was looking for someone to design a dress for one of my events.
Yes.
And I was like, I know somebody that can do a custom dress for me. I was like, Arlene, but what? I can't remember what her last name was. And I was like, oh my God, I can never pronounce your name correctly because I'm from Georgia. So we slaughter names. I'm sorry, I'm from Beaufort, Georgia. So we sometimes slaughter names.
That's okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna look her up. And I kept looking on Facebook, and I have the thing is, I have a lot of friends named Arlene. And then when I found you, I'm like, oh my God, that's her. So I reached out to you, and from that point, we started like talking. Is that, I think that's how we met, right?
Yeah, I believe so, because I think it was we did an event. We maybe the first time we met. I can't remember if it was Tamiko's web event, like the or was it at my boutique? Did you come to my boutique in Tucker?
I did.
Yeah,
Yes, that's exactly how we met. You are
yeah.
so right. You're right.
That was when we had like a little gathering and stuff like that.
That was the initial meeting.
That was because that was in
Mm-hmm.
2014, because it was soon after that that boutique got shut down and I moved to Lawrenceville.
Right.
And then that's where when you contacted me, then and I made the dress, and it was such an honor doing that. It was the first time I'd even made that design and stuff. I was like, but I'm a person that you ask me that, I'm just like, yep, I can do it, and then I try to figure out how to do it.
No, but you did. It was perfect though, because I'm telling you guys, I actually seen a picture online, and I was like, I wonder would she be able to make this? You know what? I'm gonna print this picture out and I'm gonna take it to her. And I mean, she was like, yeah. I was like, are you serious? You can make? She was like, yeah, I can make it. I was like, yes. And it was it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful and one of a kind. Even though it wasn't exactly like the dress, I love that you made it Sheila.
Yeah.
So I was like, nobody else has this dress. So I was really, yeah. I loved it.
I mean, we're gonna show it, and everybody loved you in the dress. I mean, you really, really wore it well, and it was such an honor for me to be able to do that and to see what helped bless me as a designer. Is when I custom design something for someone, or even when they come to my boutique and they buy something and they wear it and they love it. That to me is precious. It's worth more than whatever the dress or whatever cost. So
Right.
and
Right.
I'm so thankful because you would tell everybody about it. So
Oh, I did.
and then it was in even it was that's a time to you just never know how God is orchestrating
Yes.
different things. You think he's doing one thing, because I think that was when I met Parrish.
Yes, that was 2014.
Yes, and it was at your
Mhm.
event, and
Oh,
then
no, wait a minute. No, not 2014. That would have been 2015, 16, I think.
I think it was 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was 15 because 14 I was still in Tucker, and it was late 14, I think, that I moved to Lawrenceville. And
Right.
yeah, because I remember joining the Interfaith Women's Group in 2015,
Right.
and
That would have been.
it was amazing, and I really enjoyed your event that you were doing with the women, because it was such unity there, and I was looking for women that I could call friends, I could call sister, that I could be open and honest with, and you introduced me to Parish Group, and it's just been a blessing. But I was really honored to meet you and to see what you were doing. And I know we're gonna talk a little bit about that later, but we're gonna keep going and say we all have an experience that shaped us into who we are. Sometimes we may have more than one, but what were those moments you feel that has defined you as an individual? And I'm gonna put you on the full screen so you can tell your story, and you have as much time as you can. So go ahead, my sister.
Okay. Thank you. You know, I have to say, I was born and raised in Beaufort, Georgia, and my parents, they raised me to be a very strong Baptist Christian. And of course, being a young person, you go through those stages in your life where you feel like your parents are trying to run your life. So I decided that, and this is skipping through a lot, but I decided that since my father wouldn't let me be a police officer, that I would go into the United States Army. And that's what I did. I enlisted. I didn't tell my parents until the day that I was actually going into the military. So they had to take me on the day of my enlistment or my swearing in. And going into the military, that was to me pinnacle to set up everything that has happened in my life since. Of course, while in the military, I grew a lot. I did, because that was my first time away from home, my first time away from my parents. I could stay out as late as I wanted to. I can drink as much as I want to. I can lay as much as I want to. And that's just being very transparent, because going into the military, I was a virgin. And so, but it was going into the military, when I say lay as much, that happened after I was sexually assaulted by a drill sergeant. And that is how I actually lost my virginity. Being raped changed me to the point to where I felt, not because I didn't feel like I was worthy of love, but I felt like because of the rape, it took something away from me that I had been taught all my life that was intended to be for someone special.
Yeah.
And to have it taken from me in the manner which it was, by force, I felt less. And that, again, that experience in the military set up every episode in my life that happened thereafter. So for me, it was going into the military. For all the more bad than good things, because some good things did come out of me being in the military and my life thereafter. But the military really did set me up for all of the things that have transpired in my life since then. So to me, in answering your question, that was the pinnacle of the creation of who I am now, the woman that you see now. So from the rape until now, all that stuff in between, which I'm sure that we'll get to, that is what started my growth to the woman that I am now.
Wow. I want to spend a little time though on what you just said about the military, because we know that so much of that happened, but it's not known, because a lot of times they penalize civilians and there's other people that do that, but it's happening in one of the most prestigious places, to women and men as well, that are supposed to be there to serve. And can you imagine something like that happening to you when you and especially to someone that's in authority? Why do you think that it's not more known though? Like, because I've heard so many other women talk about it, but then no one gets arrested, or for some reason, I don't know if it just get covered up or whatever. Why? Do you have maybe an explanation in your opinion why?
I think like in my opinion, my rape occurred in 1989. So at that time, things have changed now. More women are coming out. More is being done to eliminate those things from happening. And if it does happening, women are feeling more open to report it. When I went in, even the unit that I was in, it was predominantly men. I was in the United States Army, and I was in a unit or a section that, like I said, that was more men than women. And for the time period that I was in, and this is just my opinion, not saying that it's true or fact, but you requested my opinion, so I'm giving it. But when I went in and when that happened to me, I know I felt that my growth, first of all, in the military would be hindered if I were to say anything, because the drill sergeant had been in for way longer than, of course, I had been. And of course, I felt threatened. And I was told, you tell this, basically, they're going to deny it. And you're a young soldier, you're a female. You probably were asking for it anyway.
Wow.
So you feel like if you do tell, then, like I say, your career's over. But then you also feel threatened because, things happen to women, and you've seen it happen. Things
Yeah.
happen to women in the military, and, nobody knows what happened to
Yeah.
those women. So I felt fearful, but I also felt to the point where I knew that I wanted to make a career out of the military. And if I was going to do that, then I would have to keep my mouth shut.
Wow. That is something to have to live with, Um, but I thank God for praying parents. I'm sure your parents have
Yes.
been covered in prayer, and here you are today, where you can empower and help other women that are going through. Because not everyone that even get to where you are, because some have. I know I heard a lady. I think it was like a few months back, and her daughter actually committed suicide.
Yes.
In the army, and because she was raped, and it wasn't just one time. So
Yeah.
some does not even live with that, and they take their life. So I believe that God has you there with all the challenges that you have faced to help other women, and you've been really doing a great job at that. So thank you for your service, and thank God that you're still there today, because you've really poured into the lives of so many, and it's going to continue. Okay, so
Yes.
um, who and what is your greatest influence, and why?
I've come across some remarkable people in my life. I mean, absolutely amazing people. But my my parents are amazing, and I'm not just saying that because they are my parents. I'm actually saying that because they are truly amazing people, and I didn't truly realize the blessing that I had to have the parents that I do until, of course, I had my own children. And I started reflecting a lot on my childhood, how I was raised, the things that I've done, the things that they told me. And to this day, all of the things that they gave me as a child, I can apply them to my life now. And I feel like, because I mean, I look at a lot of the people that I grew up with, even my classmates, and the people that had the luxury of having all of the freedom that they wanted. They're not in a position that I'm in with my life. Meaning, I'm not strung out on drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have 7, 8 children by 7 different 8 people. Am I where I want to be completely in my life? Of course not, because we all continue to grow. If you stop growing, then you might as well die. I mean, I tried to do something, get something different every day with my life. But my parents are foundation for me. They created that. So to me, with them giving me the foundation that I have, or that they gave me, I was able to build on that. My father, pinnacle to me. He's our matriarch of our family. And he really is amazing. He can fix anything. He can do anything. It's just kind of like, I think, and I have to share this. I'm sorry, this is sidetrack, but it just hit my mind. But my dad and I were not, I wasn't close to my parents growing up. And I can remember my son had went to stay with his dad for the summer. And it just wasn't working out with him being there. And I said, I wanted my mom to go, but my mom had a prior engagement or something going on that she could not go. So my dad said that he would drive with me to pick my son up, which was probably about 6 hours for us to drive. And that was the first time that I had actually been alone as an adult with my dad for that period of time. And I'm thinking to myself, before we even got on the road, what am I going to talk to my dad about for 6 hours? Like, we're going to be in this car for 6 hours, and I'm not really sure, I have that much conversation for my dad. It's like, hey, dad, let's talk about the children, let's talk about my life. And then that's probably about an hour, give it. So 4 hours into our conversation, I was able to discuss some really personal things with my dad because I felt like I could. I talked to him about, my marriage and, when I was married and, some of the things that had happened to me when I was in my marriage and, just about relationships in general. And I found myself truly becoming his little girl again. And here I am like a grown woman, but, we stopped the car and, my dad, I don't know, it was just something about him holding me or, like holding me in his arms that truly did make me feel like everything was going to be okay. And I think that was like the building of my father and I, like our relationship. My mom, everybody knows my mom. My mom is like everybody's mother. She adopts everybody. All my friends call her mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So she's a beautiful woman, and she's been the gorilla glue to hold everything together. And she's who I aspire to be.
Yeah.
Because my mom is such a beautiful person inside that, I mean, you can't help but to see it outside. And the woman that you're looking at now, I'm completely opposite of my mom. I'm completely opposite of her. But everything that she's given me has molded me into be the woman that I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be my mom, but that Magnolia has raised me. So my parents, I would have to say they've been my everything to me in my life. And, I feel sorry for a lot of people that don't have their parents. Because I mean, I'm blessed to have both of my parents and they're both in wonderful shape, give and take, with the ailments that you can, start to have when you get older, but they're amazing. My parents, they would have to be the foundation that has started and continue to build my life.
That is such a blessing to say that. And to me, that's what we should even aspire as parents. Because for me, even when I started having my own kids, I'm like, I was not trying to be my children's friend. I just wanted to be the best mom for them.
Yes.
I put them first, where I know that I'm going to put this little humans are going to grow up one day, and they're going to be in the world, and they're going to have to live their own life. So I knew I had to prepare them, just like my mom prepared me for this life. And a lot of things happen to me as well, that some of the things that even if our parents try the best, they can't prepare us for everything. But still, the values that they place in us, even when we're little,
Yes.
goes with us. That even when we go through challenges and stuff, that we can still stand. I wasn't like you. I wasn't super close to my dad. And I used to say, well, there's so many of us. Because he and my mom had 10 children, so I'm like, there's so many to pick from. But my mom and I was really close to my oldest brother. That he's been gone for 20 years. He died. I was really close to him as well. But then it was years ago that and I knew I had to take the boldness and go talk to my dad, because I used to feel like he didn't like me. And I actually went to him and said, this is how I felt. And then he explained it to me, and I had to, let it go, because I really felt as a little girl that I did not. He provided every single thing that we needed, but the closeness wasn't there. But I'm glad that years ago we were able to, overcome that, where then we were able to talk and pray together, sing together, and stuff like that before, he passed on this year. But I was
Right.
doing, it was like a tea party that this lady was having last week or a couple weeks ago, and I the girl who won, she was, I want to say maybe she was past 30 or something like that, and we had to have this fancy hat and have our stuff set up. So she had her background set up, a really nice hat, and then her teacups and stuff there. But there was a butler in the back, and I was like, so we thought it was like a fake picture. But then the butler started moving. We're like, wait, why is the picture moving? Because first he was standing there like this with their, and then he started moving, and then he started doing something on the grill. I'm like, the picture is moving. Then she said, no, that's my dad. We're like, what? You, wow, what?
Wow.
Yes. And so she won. But she was in tears when she won, because she said, we don't know what it means to her, because I don't think she was ready for dad, and I don't remember the whole story. But this is the first time she had tea with her dad. And that's grown woman like us. I was like, wow, we never know how important these things are,
Yes.
to women or to children. And maybe someone that might be watching, just like you said that being able to, even you already married and stuff, that's when you got even closer to him. Some woman out there might be thinking, well, you know what? I didn't know my dad. It's never too late. It's never too
No,
late.
it's not. It's
Wow.
really not. Mm-mm.
And
Yeah,
now,
I'm really thankful for my parents. And the older I get and the older they get, that I know, we all, I mean, we live in a world where we know that we're born to die.
yeah,
And that's not something that any of us can avoid.
no, that's for sure.
But my parents have really given us the ability that if something does happen to them, that we know, in fact, that we will see them again. And they're, I don't know, my dad, he talks about death often. I mean, he's just amazing. If I know I keep saying that, but he truly is. And just his relationship with God has made our family go through a lot of things that most families would crumble and fall
Wow.
with. And, like you said before in the earlier part of our conversation, people see you, they see what you have, they see where you are, but they don't know where you've been or what you've had to go through in order to get to that point. And I was telling a girlfriend the other day, we all have a past. And if you don't, then I don't know where you've been, but we all have a past. And whatever your past has been, if you've used that to bring you to where you are now, and you're using those experiences to be the better person, because we all should be improving every day of our lives.
Yeah.
But don't be ashamed of your past. Now, if you're still living in your past and it's something that you know that you're not supposed to be doing, and you're still doing those things, then of course, yes. But if that's who you want to be and that's your truth, that's where you want to be at, then live it. But if your past, it does define who you are, but it doesn't determine where you go with your life, because it's part of you. You can't change it.
Yeah.
So I say embrace it, talk about it, share it, so that then people don't have anything to talk about when they talk, because you've told everything.
That I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put it out there. That way, if you're talking about me, I already put it out there. So
Hmm. Exactly.
I'm gonna just be transparent. I'm just gonna tell you whatever you want to know, so then you don't have to go picking around and making up stuff, because I already tell you.
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
wow,
Hmm.
my sister. This is really great conversation. And I'm really just thankful that even as women, and Black women especially, because in the last few months, well, forever, but especially in the last year, we've been through so much. And even as Black business owners too, we've really suffered with. We were already suffering because a lot of the the opportunities that other women our age or white women may get in their business, we did not have that. And I'm not afraid to say it
Exactly.
because it's the truth. And once COVID hit, everything just get worse. And I'm an example of that, where I see the businesses next to me are flourishing, and then I'm still here, and I'm like, okay, why is that? But to be able to be open and honest and transparent, our goal is to just empower other women, or anyone that's listening,
Yes.
take the time to know life. Sometimes we feel like it's not fair, but fair or not, you're still here. You still can do
Yes.
something about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely,
Yes.
sis.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So what, and I know this is a loaded question too. What is your passion and what drives you?
Oh my God. That you so right. It is. Um, After coming out of the military, and I don't want to jump ahead of your the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later, but the question that you just posed to me, it kind of, I guess, is lumped into like
Yeah, go ahead.
most of my passions, where it's derived from. So after leaving the military and experiencing the sexual assault, and we can get into it later, but I also experienced domestic violence. Um, my first passion that I knew God had given me, it was a gift. And this is very strange to say, but He brought me through in order for me to do what I'm about ready to tell you. And I decided, after speaking, I was in school, and I'm backtracking. I was in school, and I happened to come across this lady that came to our class, and she presented her organization. She told us what she was doing, and just after class, we were standing around and we were talking, and we connected. Like it was almost like a magnet. And we started talking, and she was like, you know what? She says, I would love for you to come and speak at my event. And I'm thinking to myself, at that point, I never did that before. I mean, I'm in school, I've spoken in church, So I was like, before I had even thought about it, God had already like whelped that answer up in my mouth, and I had said, okay, sure. And I'm thinking to myself, why did I just say that? Lord, I don't know what I'm going to talk about with these women, because I really didn't honestly know what I was going to speak about. She says, just come and tell, about your life, because it's going to be for women. I was like, okay, sure. I've always been about women empowerment.
Yeah.
So I go to this event, and when I arrived, it just, I don't know, it was a different feel. And I had my son with me. And we went in, and I'm looking at the women, and I can tell that, just looking from another woman that has gone through domestic violence, I can kind of pick up on like different looks. And, like some of the women had like scars on their face. And I'm thinking, I wonder what am I speaking at? Because up until that point, she just told me to come and, speak about my life. And I'm thinking, okay. So she says, she comes and she says, hey, she says, oh, I'm glad you made it. We make our friendlies. And she says, are you ready? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but, I said, what's my audience? I've never even asked her that before. Who am I speaking with? Because I can get up and I can speak about my life and speak about it without even having anything written down. But just so in the back of my mind, I know who I'm speaking to. She says, they're survivors. And I said, survivors? And she says, yeah. She says, most of them are domestic violence survivors. And something came over me, like at that very moment, and my whole like spiel that I was going to do for my my speech went straight out of the window. And I got up, and for the first time in my life, this was 2013. I told my story about the sexual assault, about the domestic violence, and this was my son's first time ever hearing it. And the the looks when you're standing in front of a group of people and you're making eye contact with them, because I know a lot of people say, okay, if you're nervous, I wasn't nervous at all, but the eye contact or the connection that I had with the women in the room became so immense. I mean, it was overwhelming for me. You know, I'm crying, they're crying, but they're the way that they received my words, I was like, you know what? I was like, I got to do something. You know, I got to do something with this story. So after the event, I had my son, we were getting ready to leave. I said, hey, take a picture of me. So he takes a picture of me. I put it on Facebook, and this was in 2013. I put it on Facebook, and I said, you know, hey, all I put on there is I'm a domestic violence and a rape survivor. I put that on the picture. It wasn't a picture. The likes could care less about it, but I started getting like all of these inbox messages like, oh my gosh, Sheila, I didn't know that happened to you. Can you help me? I've been in a relationship for 8, 9, 10 years, and I've been going through the same thing, but I just don't know what to do. And that is what started No Longer the Face Foundation. I decided at that point that, okay, I'm just going to do a small event to celebrate those that are survivors and just give them a photo shoot to make them feel good about themselves. And here we are. 2014 was our first event. And we had events thereafter where we would celebrate women as well as their families that had lost, you know, their loved ones. And we would do fundraisers. So any of the funds that we raised, we would give them back to either the survivors. We gave awards, but it was more than just the financial part of it or the awards. It was coming together with women that look like you and me, that you would never ever think that this was going on in their lives. And so, of course, we continue to have the events, but then I started having some health issues, and we had to put the organization on hold. And then you go through we had to go through COVID. And of course, you know, that put things on hold, but it still didn't stop the communication. It's just all of the other things that we were doing for the organization. I do have to give a shout out, if I may, to my board. They know who they are. They are phenomenal. They're an amazing group of women that I could not have done any of the things that I've done with my organization without them. So I really, truly do want to make sure that I give them a shout out because they're amazing. So the organization will be back. We just have to fix some things, you know, like get things back on track, but that will be coming back. And then of course I love to write. I've always loved to write. And so when my job ended in December, you know, you have all this free time. That's why I tell people, sit down sometimes, just pause, take time out. Because when I had that free time, all these thoughts started just kind of passing through my head. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start writing short films. You know, I have all these stories in my head and I don't necessarily want to write a book. So let me just start writing short films. So I'm writing. And I'm sending all this stuff to my mentor, Chuck. And I was like, Chuck, you know, he says, just write, you know, so I'm continuing to write. And Chuck had given me an opportunity to be in a couple of his films. And I knew that I didn't want to act because I don't like memorizing lines. It's just too much. I was like, so I'll just be behind the scenes because I'm creative. I love everything about, you know, set design and, you know, the back end of how the films come together and all of it. It's just, to me, it was amazing. So I said, hey, if Tyler Perry can do it and Regina can do it, I can do it. And so I did. I started Sheila B Productions, and we've actually filmed one short, which should be out soon. It's called The Tree. And then we're starting to film my second short, Shared, actually next weekend.
Okay.
So I'm truly excited about that. But I I feel like, most people's like, you do a lot. Well, and I've always said, if God gave me a gift, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to use it. It does nothing for, or does nothing to anything if I take this to the grave with me. So you know what? I'm
Exactly.
going to do it.
Mm-hmm. And
So those,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, and that's the thing though, because if you have the ability and you're able to do it, then you're doing it. And because like me, people's like, you're doing all of this and that. I was like, you know what? God gave me the vision. If I'm doing it,
Yes.
that means I'm listening to what God say. If I'm sitting there doing
Amen.
nothing, then that's the
Mhm.
problem. Because I believe that God is speaking to every one of us. There's because
Yes.
He created us in His likeness and in His image. He didn't just sit there. He was all over the place doing things. So
Yes.
I said, I'm gonna keep on doing till the day I die. When I'm tired, I'll take a break, but I'm gonna keep on doing.
And you're doing amazing.
Yeah,
Um, it's just, to me, I love, love, love to see women. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Black women, but I just love seeing women in general um, following their passion. And if you haven't found your passion, find it.
yeah,
Most people go through their whole lives and not know what their purpose is to be on this earth. And I'm so thankful to God that He just continues to give me things. So I know what my purpose is. And I know that if I sit down and I listen to Him intently, because most people say, you can't hear God speak. Yes, you
yeah,
can. If you sit down and you listen with the intent of receiving what He's telling you, then you'll hear Him just as clearly. To me, I've heard Him talk to me as clearly as you and I speaking. So I just, I really do want to encourage people to try to find something that you are passionate about.
yeah,
It makes your life feel so much, it makes it feel more full.
yeah. Fulfilled too. Yeah,
You just feel like you're walking through life getting up with a purpose of doing something. And I don't care if it's just to be a volunteer
hmm,
or whatever you have a passion for, do it.
yes.
Just do something. And
Come on.
this is really the time to do it.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I was just while you listening, I was thinking that even when we encourage women to find their passion, women, you need to stop. I'm not saying we, because I find my passion, that you need to stop being afraid and stop
Yes.
wondering how am I gonna figure it out. Because as long as God put that gift in you, because the word of God said He created us in His likeness and in His image. It also said that, for I know the plans I have for you, and they're plans for good. So if
Yes, ma'am.
that there's a plan for you, don't let fear stop, because I think fear is what stops a lot of people. And that's why we do this, to encourage other women to, and men as well. But our heart, we really want to help our sisters, no matter whether it's Black, Caucasian, Asian, it doesn't matter, that to empower them, because so many are such beautiful inside out, and there's so much knowledge and potential and experience that they have, that they can help other people. But because of fear, or because someone they may have heard someone telling another person, hey, you can't do this, or they may have seen someone fail and like, you know what, I can't. No, everyone, even if it's one time you try it, just
Hmm.
try, just try.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. If He put it there, you're not going to fail. If
That's
you're following His direction, you're not going to fail. Now, it might not happen. To me, success is doing it, and it doesn't have to have a financial portion of it for me to feel like I'm being successful or living in my purpose. It just feels good to know what you're supposed to be doing and you're doing it.
that's right. That's right. And then sometimes, even if you're not sure, just keep on doing it. And
Exactly.
looking at other, and that's another thing we have to do when we look at other people's, look at them where you say, you know what, I'm gonna look at you as an example to see what I can gain from you, what I can. No competition, because a lot of times you see the competition, and that's what messes us up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because when you start competing against each other, you're going against each other. But if you say, you know what, oh man, she's doing really well, I'm gonna watch her. I'm gonna ask her a question. I'm gonna support her. That way, when my turn comes, so that is why we do this, so we can empower, and just encourage other women, because man, we are very talented. And
Yes.
the younger women that are coming, that we have to empower and encourage. And sometimes, even if it's just sharing your story, and like you said about writing, I always encourage everybody to write, because that's how I wrote my first book. I was just,
Mm-hmm.
I did not set out to write a book. God had said I was going to write books, and I was going to do movies, and I was going to have a TV show, and all of this. That was a long time ago. But
Right.
I had all of that written down. But I would just
Mm-hmm.
write, and that's how my first book, came along. Um, from me just writing, and now I think I have like four, and
Yes.
bunch more that I have not even let out. So just write.
Mm-hmm. You know, going back to something that you said, I don't know why we as women, and it's not just women, because I see that happening a lot, and particularly, and because I'm a Black woman, that's my experience, that's my truth, that's what I live in, because that's who I am. I have to say that. But as a people, we truly do have a problem or an issue with helping one another,
Yes.
to the degree that we feel like, if I tell you, Arlene, some information, then that's going to take away something from me. And I keep telling, and this is something I say on every interview that I do, what my blessing is from God has nothing to do with what I bless you with.
That's right.
So by me blessing you, he blesses me. And you know what? I like those blessings coming from God.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give, if I know something, if I know someone, if I have a resource that I can provide to someone else, you know what? I don't care how you use it at that point. But if it's something that I can do to help you be where you need to be in your journey, then I'm going to give it to you, because it doesn't discount or change what God has for me on my path.
Exactly.
So I think as people in general, our mindset is of a selfish nature, and we're so worried about, if we get here, someone getting here with us. But they don't understand that if we're both at the same level, we still have two different paths.
Yes.
So we can be at the same level, but on two different paths. And it's enough for all of us to be successful.
Yes.
And I don't understand that. So if someone calls me and there's something that I know, or something that I can give, or something that I can do, I'm very open to that.
Yep.
But that's how you get your blessings from God. And I wish we'd do that more, because we could do so much more in this world if we had that mindset, and we just don't, and it's really sad.
It really sad, and hopefully, as we talk more about it, it will open that door, for people to know. It's even the word of God said it's better to give than to receive.
To receive.
That mindset
Amen.
of hoarding and holding, it has to break. It has to break, because, like you said, you're not the one that's really blessing me, and God
Right.
have given you that opportunity to give me some information. You never know what other door it could open for you. And I have to give the example of, I remember when I was starting to become a designer, I'm self-taught and everything. And there were competitions that I had to take part in. But because I'd never done it, those that had done it for years, I was asking, just, hey, how do I do this? And they literally totally just disregarded me, just, and I could tell it was a competition, but I wasn't saying, well, the information they gave me would not make me win, but it would just be some
Right.
guideline. Well, how do you cut this fabric? How do you do this? And it was so selfish. I mean, I almost quit. Like, I was like, wow, no one. would even help. I'm asking questions, but I didn't even let that stop me. I went on to win the competition, um,
Right.
which they were shocked. But then even after that, these same people were coming to me, and I was like,
Exactly.
I don't have a problem sharing because it's not taking anything from you. And sometimes we're like, well, I'm not going to have this person again because they lie or they cheat. That's still not for us to be determined. If God has placed that blessing in your hand to give to somebody, you better do what you're supposed to do, and don't try to hold it on,
Right.
because it's gonna choke you. And I said it, so you're gonna have to
Mm.
let it go. Otherwise, it's gonna
Yeah.
do you no good. Because my goodness, so I'm hoping that we can do that, because we would be so much more stronger and so much more
Yes.
powerful. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's the whole other show. So we're gonna keep on going. Okay, so guys, we have come to the ending of the first part of the show. We are going to have a second segment to the show, because my sister Sheila had just a lot of information that she needed to share with our viewers. You guys know, real talk, real issue. We use our experiences, the challenges, the things that we face in life, to help our audience, to help those that are watching and those that may need some help. We're not taking any claim that we're professional, and we're not giving diagnosing, or giving advice based on the rules. But we're talking based on our experience and what we went through, how we walked through it. So we just want to say thank you very, very much. And we will definitely have a second part of this interview. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and we will let you know, because she is going to come back and we're going to finish up the show. So God bless you. And once again, thank you. Thank you very much. Miss Sheila, thank you for being open and being transparent and telling your story, because we know that it's going to change lives. So God bless you guys. And this is Imagine Me TV. We just want to say thank you one more time for taking your time out on a busy Sunday afternoon and tuning into our show. God bless you, and may everything that you do prosper. Thank you very much.